the planet Nibiru. This is the sun directly behind it. There are 3 planets that I've seen. It's one to the right and one to the left. Those are smaller, but this one is huge. This is directly behind the sun. When this moves to the left or right, you'll see what someone took video footage of in Florida. There it is to the left, right there. See, now notice where the video was in the beginning, when it was directly in front of the sun. I mean, right directly in front of the sun. Now it is to the left of the sun, and you can see it clearly. You can see that reflection clearly that this is not a sundog. Now let's put them together in photos. Now this is separate, pointing to the reflection of planet X, Nibiru. Now I joined it together. I pulled this over to that. Now you can see, no sundog here. That is the planet directly in front of the planet X. This tremendous, huge planet that's coming down. Now, there it is, by itself. What do you see? Sundog? Halo? No. And you're gonna notice something when I play that video again, that halo, that supposedly sundog, has a cloud around it. Now this is that same picture darkened up. Now we darkened it, and you would swear, I mean, this is just a picture, a photograph. You just took the sun and put it right in front of that cloud. That's that same cloud. And now we're gonna play that video again, and I want you to look at it. In order to see this, you would have to just open up your eyes and want to see that cloud that you just saw. Now you're seeing that cloud behind the sun. It's not a reflection. It's not just a reflection. It ain't just a rainbow. You see a cloud. Now you can see the regular clouds in the sky around it, but what rainbow has a cloud around it? Now clearly look at that. That's a cloud around that planet, and everyone knows that who wants to know. You can run, you could hide, you can play games, you could try to deceive, you stupid government, but we know what's out there and we're looking at it, and you cannot say a rainbow is a damn cloud. That is a cloud around that sun. And just as I did before, I put a flashlight on a box, put a roll of tape signifying that planet, and then I put a light behind that and turned off the lights. And guess what we saw, folks? Bam, there it is, your sun halo. There it is again. There's your sun, there's the light. We put the flashlight right there, bam, as signifying the sun, and you have the same thing, what they call a sun halo. Bam, it's all in your face. If you want to see, you can see it. If you want to see it, look to the left and you can see the sun halo, and look to the right and you can see the flashlight. And no, I'm not perfectly shining the light on there, but I'm giving you enough so you can see that that is the same thing that you're looking at. That big spot in the sky is a tremendous planet coming down, and we are finished. We are finished. You can keep playing games all you want, but we are finished. And no, I'm not done with your dog asses. There is a light in the sky, and this right here, folks, is before the sunrise. Look at that tremendous light in the sky over the city. It's before the sun rises. You see this light. It's already there in the sky. It's already there. When this planet actually shows up, you're gonna be in big trouble. Men's heart will fail them for fear. Out of fear. What is heart failure? Heart attack. Heart attack. Attack. Heart attack. Out of fear. Well, allow me to point it out. Here it is, another city, right in your faces, before the sun comes up. Right here, this planet is already up, right there. You seeing a huge, tremendous light over your city before your sun comes up. in your faces. Up, there it goes again. Over another city. Before the sun comes up, that planet is up. And at a distance, look how bright it is. Right over the city, but you see no sun in the sky. Let's look at some more. Ooh, yet another city. That right there is where the sun is coming up, and that right there is where that planet is going to be coming up. Always to the left of the sun, the huge, tremendous planet. Now, let's get this tape rolling. Let's look at what we're seeing. There it is. This is what we're seeing, folks. Look at that, right there. And look how big that is. If you see something that big in the sky, when it absolutely shows itself, oh, that's heart attack zone, folks. That's heart attack. And look, the sun hasn't risen yet, but this planet has risen. And you know what else? I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. You wanna know a little secret? That planet right there is finna rise from the west. That planet right there is finna rise from the west. Wonder where we heard that at before. That planet right there is finna rise from the west. And look at the sun right there. In comparison, it don't even compare. It don't even compare, folks. Look at it. It don't compare to that planet. I mean, this is tremendously huge, and it's out there waiting for you, but it's waiting for you. What we're calling Nibiru is just a moon, I believe. What we're calling Nibiru is a moon. The real planet is shortly to come, and that's what's behind the sun. So you can continue to have faith in the fake news, continue to have faith in the fake news, or you could join the people who open their eyes and actually see for yourself. Why should one man tell you what you're looking at? Why? Why do we keep listening to a false source, that's deceiving us? Why don't we see for ourselves? Why don't we make comparisons for ourselves? I use my brain. Why don't you use yours? That's where the planet is. It's right there. It's coming up. And it's huge, it's tremendous, and it's something that's it right there. Right in your faces. And this is not the sun. And while we're looking at how the sun is going to rise from the west, and that's that reflection again of the planet, but how it's going to rise from the west, I'm going to let you in on something else about these scoffers. They're demons. Demons. They're demons in people, and they're demons online using the internet to come and make this look like hogwash. And I'm gonna tell you how they're doing that. Every 30 minutes, see, I'm very attentive. I don't miss nothing. I analyze everything. They come to the page, and what do they do on the page? Every 30 minutes, they put a dumb comment. Oh, this is just a reflection of the sun. Nothing to worry, folks. And then someone else has come. This guy is crazy. And then somebody else comes and said, I've seen this before. It's just a reflection off of the cameras and this and that. And then somebody else says, well, you Bible thumpers, you keep coming around here trying to tell us something. Get out of here with that religion. It's old, it's ancient. It doesn't fit in modern times. And then somebody else comes and says, nigger. And then somebody else comes and says, that's the sun halo. It's been proven. And then somebody else comes, and then what are they doing? When you look at the page, at the comments, before you watch the videos, after they thumbs down everything, then only thing you're going to see is negative, 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 and it make you not even want to watch the video because so many people put negative comments that you say, this video is stupid, before you even watch it. And that is the purpose of the scoffer. To discredit the video before you even watch it. By what? Negative comments, because they influence the minds of the people. If you see many thumbs down and you see negative comments all over the place, the likelihood of you watching that video is zero, and they're in your minds and they know that. And they drive me crazy, and what I do is hide this user from this channel Why? Why am I hiding them? Let them keep coming, because they're going to come every 30 minutes and put another comment on it. This is their whole entire life, is to keep you in the dark until it's too late and you burning in hell, because their whole life is to get you in hell, to make it a hell on earth. And they have made it a hell on earth. And now God is on his way, and they're going to hide God from you. And you're going to allow them to hide God from you. If I were you, I wouldn't allow them to do such a thing. This is real. This planet is going to rise from the west. I don't care what anyone says. And this is an actual planet. This is coming up before the sun comes up, to show you. This is God saying, I am real. I'm in your face. I'm on my way. I'm giving you a chance to get your act together, and you need to get your act together as fast as you can, as quickly as you can. Wrap the news, and this is real. Don't let the comments or the scoffers detour you.
I thought this was the time for this. When a star falls from the sky, it leaves a fiery trail. It does not die. Its shade goes back to its own place to shine again. The Indians sometimes find the small stars where they have fallen in the grass. In ancient times, objects in the night sky conjured superstition and were associated with gods and religion. But the misunderstandings about meteors lasted longer than those of most celestial objects. Meteorites, the pieces that make it to Earth, were long ago thought to be cast down as gifts from angels. Others thought the gods were displaying their anger. As late as the 17th century, many believed they fell from thunderstorms. They were nicknamed thunderstones. Many scientists were skeptical that stones could fall from the clouds or the heavens, and often they simply didn't believe the accounts of people who claimed to have seen such things. In 1807, a fireball exploded over Connecticut, and several meteorites rained down. By then, the first handful of asteroids had been discovered, and a new theory emerged suggesting meteorites were broken bits off asteroids or other planets. A theory that still holds. One of the most significant meteorite events in recent history destroyed hundreds of square miles of forest in Siberia on June 30, 1908. Across hundreds of miles, witnesses of the Tunguska event saw a ball of fire streak through the sky, suggesting the meteor entered the atmosphere at an oblique angle. It exploded, sending out hot winds and loud noises and shaking the ground enough to break windows in nearby villages. Small particles blown into the atmosphere lit the night sky for several days. No meteorite was ever found, and for years many scientists thought the devastation was caused by a comet. Now, the prevailing theory holds that a meteor exploded just above the surface. The largest meteorite recovered in the United States fell in a wheat field in southern Nebraska in 1948. Witnesses saw a giant fireball in the afternoon that some said was brighter than the sun. The meteorite was found buried 10 feet deep in the ground. It weighed 2,360 pounds. The most famous meteorite crater in the United States is misnamed Meteor Crater. It's in Arizona, and it's huge. The rim rises 150 feet from the surrounding plain, and the hole is 600 feet deep and nearly a mile wide. It was the first crater proved to be caused by a meteorite impact, which occurred between 20,000 and 50,000 years ago. For decades astronomers have reaped the values of written records kept for over 2,500 years in China and Europe. Eclipses, planets, and comets are mentioned and have brought about refinements to our current understanding of the long-term motion of these bodies, especially for comets such as Halley and Swift-Tuttle. Several meteor showers have also been identified which brought about a better understanding of their evolution as well. No other culture can provide comparable information as that gathered from the Chinese and European records, but this need not be a deterrent from learning about how other cultures felt about these moving bodies in the sky, and one of the richest regions of meteor and comet lore in the world is North America. During the last 15 to 20 years, archaeoastronomy has uncovered much concerning the astronomical beliefs of Native Americans. Unfortunately, the methods of keeping records of astronomical events were not as straightforward as those of the Chinese and Europeans, as there are no books lying around. Instead, the methods of record keeping included rock and cave drawings, stick notching, beadwork, pictures on animal skins and jars, and storytelling, most of which are not datable. One of the few datable events among the various records of Native Americans was the 1833 appearance of the Leonid meteor shower. Historically recognized as one of the greatest meteor storms on record, it made a lasting impression among the peoples of North America. The most obvious accounts of the Leonid storm appear among the various bands of the Sioux of the North American plains. The Sioux kept records called winter counts, which were a chronological, pictographic account of each year painted on animal skin. In 1984, Vondel Chamberlain, Smithsonian Institution, listed the astronomical references for 50 Sioux winter counts, of which 45 plainly referred to an intense meteor shower during 1833–1834. In addition, he listed 19 winter counts kept by other Plains Indian tribes, of which 14 obviously referred to the Leonid storm. The Leonids also appear among the Maricopa, who used calendar sticks with notches to represent the passage of a year, with the owner remembering the events. The owner of one stick claimed records had been kept that way since the stars fell. The first notch on his stick represented 1833. Storytelling was a very important method of record keeping among most Native Americans, and several seem to have been influenced by the Leonids of 1833. A member of the Papago, named Kudux, was born around 1847 or 1848. He claimed that 14 years prior to his birth the stars rained all over the sky. A less obvious Leonid reference may exist in the journal kept by Alexander M. Stephen, which detailed his visit with the Hopi Indians and mentions a talk he had with old Justinai on December 11, 1892. That Hopi Indian said, "How old am I? 50, maybe 100 years, I cannot tell. When I was a boy of so big, 8 or 10 years, there was a great comet in the sky, and at night all the above was full of shooting stars. That was a very long time ago, maybe 100 years, maybe more. During the probable lifetime of old Justinai there was never a great comet and a sky full of meteors in the same year, but he might be referring to two separate events such as the sun-raising comet 1843 I and the Great Leonid Storm of 1833, both of which occurred early in his life. The Pawnee have a story about a person known as Pehokatawa, who was supposedly killed by an enemy and eaten by animals, but then brought back to life by the gods. He was said to have come to Earth as a meteor and told the people that when meteors were seen falling in great numbers it was not a sign that the world would end. When the Pawnee tribe witnessed the time the stars fell upon the Earth, which was in 1833, there was a panic, but the leader of the tribe spoke up and said, "Remember the words of Pehokatawa," and the people were no longer afraid. Although the Pawnee learned not to be afraid, there were Native Americans who feared meteors. Why such beliefs came about is almost impossible to guess, but some of the best examples are as follows. The Blackfeet of Montana believed a meteor was a sign that sickness would come to the tribe in the coming winter, or that a great chief had just died. The Kawazu, California, thought a meteor that started high and fell to the horizon was an omen of sickness and death. The Kaweah thought a meteor was the spirit of their first shaman, Takwich, who was disliked by his people. Takwich was said to wander the skies at night looking for people far from their tribe. When someone was found, he stole their spirit, and sometimes even the person, took them back to his home and ate them. The Shawnee believed meteors were beings fleeing from the wrath of some adversary, or from some anticipated danger. There were other beliefs which generally did not strike fear into the hearts of Native Americans. Some of these are as follows. The Wintu, Northern California, explained meteors as the spirits of shamans traveling to the afterlife. The Chumash, California, referred to meteors as Alakiwohuk, which simply meant shooting star. They believed a meteor was a person's soul on its way to the afterlife. The Luiseno, California, believed they were merely stars which suddenly moved. The Eastern Pomo, North Central California, thought meteors were fire dropping from heaven. Interestingly, one of the most widely accepted beliefs was that meteors were the feces of stars. Such lore existed in the stories of the Nunamiut Eskimos, the Coushatta of Louisiana, formerly located in Tennessee, and numerous Southern California tribes. A slight variation of this came from the Kiliwa, Baja California, who believe meteors were the fiery urine of the constellation Smee. Smee has not been defined GWK. Many of the beliefs mentioned above are also attributed to comets, and most storytelling seems to rarely provide conclusive evidence that the object being discussed is indeed a meteor. Because of this, a very interesting story is being included which originates from the Great Lakes region. The Ojibwe of the Upper Great Lakes region had a story about Genondawayanung, which meant long-tailed heavenly climbing star. During the 1980s, Thor Conway visited the Ojibwe and talked to Fred Pine, an Ojibwe shaman. Pine's story about the creation notes that Genondawayanung was a star with a long, wide tail which would return and destroy the world someday. He said, "It came down here once, thousands of years ago. Just like a sun. It had radiation and burning heat in its tail. The comet was said to have scorched the earth so that nothing was left, except the Native Americans, who were warned ahead of time by Chimanatu, a holy spirit, and had gone to a bog and rolled themselves up in the mud to protect themselves from the heat." Pine continued, "It was just so hot that everything, even the stones, were cooked. The giant animals were killed off. You can find their bones today in the earth. It is said that the comet came down and spread his tail for miles and miles. Thereafter, all comet and meteors were treated as serious omens which required the interpretation of the Ojibwe shamans. There are other stories of a great fire coming from the sky and destroying everything except for certain Native American tribes. In some cases the tribes claimed they were warned, while others claimed they just ran for the nearest bodies of water. Another form of record-keeping were rock petroglyphs, or pictures carved into rock. The western United States abounds with these pictures, but any dating is virtually impossible. Once again, it is frequently difficult to determine whether the object carefully carved into rock is a meteor or a comet. One rock drawing frequently debated as to its exact depiction was produced by the Venturno tribelet of the Chumash at Burro Flats. A pair of discs with long tails are located on the wall of a cave and have been interpreted by Travis Hudson and Ernest Unday 1978, as portraits of a comet seen over an interval of a few days or weeks. On the other hand, E.C. Krupp, 1983, has pointed out that the images have a dynamic appearance that suggests rapid movement and change. If they are celestial at all, I would associate them with meteors, and, in particular, with the especially bright and dramatic type known as fireballs. The most common petroglyphs depict a circle with a wiggly line emanating from it. Various archaeologists have interpreted these as meteors, comets, and even snakes. Another form of record-keeping appears in the form of pottery art. Although there are not many examples of this, the Field Museum in Chicago contains Hopi jar, designated number 66760, with a very striking scene depicted. Brought to the museum during the 1890s, the jar depicts mountains, above which are stars and three objects falling towards the ground. Although the scene seems to imply meteors, it is not certain whether it is a shower or a spectacular meteor that broke up as it fell. According to William Grumolins at the Field Museum, the notes on this jar indicate it was found near Orabe, Arizona, and was of recent origin. He ventured to guess that the jar might have been made sometime during the 1850s to 1890s. It might be possible that this jar depicts the Leonid storm of 1833, although it seems difficult to imagine the Hopi would have still been impressed so much by the storm 2 to 5 decades after the event. On the other hand, it could be a painting of one of two other storms which were observed in various parts of the world in 1872 and 1884, although none of the winter counts mentioned earlier seem to have noted these. The Nunamiut Eskimos also found meteorites, but believed they came from thunderstorms. Stay paranoid, my friends.
seek